If they don't have anyone to believe in them, how can they believe in themselves? Freire 2000 says, "The oppressed must be their own example in the struggle for their redemption." Who is going to fight for these kids? When they hear negative comments about who they are or how they live, they must make every effort to rise up and prove themselves. I know a girl who has lived in poverty her entire life. Her mom never worked a day in her life because accepting welfare was her job. This girl graduated high school, and while her mom was set on her receiving disability to earn income, this girl rode the bus and enrolled in college. She stepped out and rose above. Now let's step into the classroom itself. If we cannot or do not know the object or item or lesson we are speaking of, we are not able to act on it. Skinner 1990 spoke about being aware, seeing things without taking further action and introspection, and Prinsky 2005 explains that although it is okay for educators to teach what has been taught, it is time to catch up with the students in the world of technology. We have so many teachers who have been there for a while and who are used to doing things the same way. I know one day I went to visit a teacher I had when I was in middle school and saw she was still teaching the same lesson 5 years later. I'd say something is wrong with that picture. Times change and people need to learn to change with them. Vygotsky 1978 spoke about children's learning and how it begins before school. He states there is a previous history and how learning and development are interrelated from day one. That's where the parents come in. When children enter school, there is an immediate difference between the child who had a parent working with them and one who didn't. Before school is when learning should really begin. We all know there are many diverse kids in the classroom, from sexuality to disabilities. Harrower 1999 discusses a child who would receive pull-out services for disabilities, but the student was not seen as being a classmate to the others because he was not in the classroom full-time as they were. This is another example of how we need to advocate for the students and let them know they are to treat everyone with respect and as family, which is one of the things I want to incorporate in my classroom. I know we all say treat everyone as you would want to be treated, but I want to go a little further with that and have the kids see each other as family. Most people would do anything for their family, and when we have students from all walks of life, I want them to be able to recognize that and accept that. Mayer 2009 speaks on the LGBTQ community of students and says, "Daily acts of covert discrimination persist and impact students' lives in ways that many teachers and administrators fail to acknowledge. There may honestly be nothing that makes me more irritated than knowing there are kids suffering because they have no outlet for feelings they have no control over. I know that I am one person, but I also know that with what I have learned, I can take this knowledge and make a difference. I can integrate this in my classroom and show my students they have a voice and it deserves to be heard. Even though this is my first semester for my MAED and I am feeling slightly overwhelmed with all of the work being a full-time student with a job and children, I am looking forward to what the future holds. I am enjoying learning, and the readings we have are giving me great insight into what I need to do and prepare for as a future teacher, for my students, and for myself.